As Sophia walks deeper into the basement of the library, the silence around her becomes almost oppressive. The old fluorescent lights above flicker, casting shadows that seem to move on their own. The deeper she goes, the colder it becomes, and she pulls her cardigan tighter around her shoulders. Her footsteps echo unervingly in the hollow space, adding to the sense of isolation. The air smells damp, like forgotten pages and mildew, with a faint metallic scent that tinges the air with unease. When she reaches the end of the stairs, she notices a strange hum vibrating through the stone floor. It's almost imperceptible at first, like the murmur of a far-off storm, but the closer she gets to the unmarked door, the stronger the sensation becomes. Her breath quickens. She hesitates, feeling the hairs on her neck stand up. The door, though plain, seems out of place in the otherwise mundane basement. Something about it radiates a subtle magnetic pull, like an ancient artifact waiting to be uncovered. The moment she opens the door, a rush of cool, stale air greets her. She steps inside cautiously, and her flashlight beam reveals row after row of dark wooden bookshelves stacked with books older than anything in the rest of the library. The shelves are cramped and cluttered, as though someone or something tried to conceal them from the world. Dust hangs thick in the air, and the musty smell of old paper is almost overwhelming. Then, in the corner of her eye, she catches something peculiar, a book that doesn't quite fit in with the others. Its cover gleams unnaturally under the flashlight, black and polished like obsidian. But when she moves closer, it doesn't reflect the light in the usual way. There's something off about its texture, almost as if the book is absorbing the light, pulling it into itself. Without thinking, she reaches out to grab it. The instant her fingers brush the cover, the temperature of the room seems to drop by several degrees. Her breath becomes visible, her fingers numb from the cold as though the book itself had summoned winter. Her heart races in her chest. It's too late to turn back now. Sophia opens the book, her mind whirling with curiosity and apprehension. The first few words don't seem to make sense. They're written in a strange script that twists and turns, the letters almost dancing on the page. She blinks, unsure if it's her eyes playing tricks on her, but then, suddenly, the text begins to change. The words rearrange themselves, forming familiar sentences in perfect English.
This world is built on forgotten truths. All that you see, all that you know, is but a shadow of the original reality. To understand is to wield the power to reshape.
The hairs on the back of her neck stand up. Her breath quickens. The words feel alive, pulsing with energy. There's a strange allure in them, a promise of knowledge so profound it feels dangerous. And for reasons she can't fully explain, she's compelled to continue reading. The further she goes, the more the world around her seems to blur. The room, once dim and filled with shadows, now feels strangely distant, like a painting viewed from the wrong angle. The pages begin to pull her in. And then, as she reads one final line, her mind erupts in a sudden flash of clarity.
For every truth unlocked, a piece of the world slips into the void. Someone you love will be erased.
She slams the book shut, her heart pounding in her chest. Her surroundings are a blur, and for a moment she thinks she might pass out. But as the dizziness fades, something is wrong. She takes a shaky step back, her mind struggling to process what just happened. Suddenly, she hears her phone buzz in her pocket. Her hands are trembling as she pulls it out, and her eyes widen at the screen. It's a message from her childhood friend, Lucas, someone she hadn't seen in years.
Hey, are you free tomorrow? Let's catch up.
But as she stares at the message, her stomach churns. She can't remember what Lucas looked like. His face, the one she had once known so well, was fading from her memory. The edges of his image were blurry, and then, gone. He was slipping away like sand through her fingers. Confused, she fumbles for her phone to dial him back, but the number is no longer in her contacts. Her heart pounds, panic beginning to take root. Her mind screams, but her body is frozen, gripped by a sense of overwhelming dread. As she stumbles out of the basement, the weight of the book heavy in her bag, Sophia's head spins. The library is almost unbearably quiet, the hum of fluorescent lights buzzing in the background as if everything is waiting for her next move. She steps outside, the crisp evening air a sharp contrast to the oppressive stillness of the library. Her phone buzzes again. This time, it's a call from her mother, and Sophia's breath catches in her throat. She hasn't heard from her mom in days, but before she can answer, the call ends. The screen reads, "Call failed." Panic spikes. She calls again, and again. The call goes through, but there's only silence on the other end. No voice, no sound. It's as though her mother had never existed. Sophia's chest tightens, her mind reeling. She's frantically scrolling through her contacts, trying to find her mother's number. But it's no longer there. A sinking feeling begins to settle in her stomach. She runs home, hoping to find something, anything, to prove that the world is still as it was, that her life has not been rewritten. She races up the stairs to her apartment, but as she enters, her heart drops. The walls are bare. The pictures are missing. The furniture is gone. And in the middle of the room on the coffee table is a photograph of her mother and father, one she remembers clearly. Except now when she looks at it, there's no one in the frame. Just a blur where her mother's face should be. And on the back, written in small, faded ink, "For every truth unlocked, a piece of the world slips into the void." Sophia collapses to her knees, the room spinning around her. Her heart is heavy with a terrible, gnawing realization. The cost of the knowledge is far greater than she ever imagined. The more she reads, the more she loses. But she can't stop. Sophia's mind races as she begins to notice the subtle shifts in her reality. First, it's small things. She runs into an old friend, Jamie, someone she hasn't seen in a while. Jamie approaches her with a puzzled look, as if trying to recall something important. They chat briefly, but when Sophia mentions meeting up soon, Jamie's response is jarring.
I don't think we've ever been close enough for that, Sophia."
The words are innocent enough, but there's a chill in the air. It's as if Jamie is a stranger, a distant figure who barely recognizes her. Confused, Sophia tries to brush it off. Maybe she was mistaken. Maybe it's just the stress of her work at the library, the weight of the books pulling on her mind. But then it happens again. She's sitting at a coffee shop, waiting for her best friend Mia. They've been inseparable since childhood, and Sophia is eager to catch up. She checks her phone. Mia should be here any minute. As the minutes drag on, Sophia feels a prickling unease. When she finally spots Mia walking toward her, she waves, only to watch Mia's face freeze in shock as she steps closer.
"I'm sorry, but do we know each other?"
Mia says, her voice tentative, uncertain. Sophia's heart lurches in her chest.
This can't be happening.
She tries to convince Mia that they've known each other for years, but Mia simply shakes her head.
"I'm sorry. I don't think I remember you."
The pain of it is unbearable. The person who had been her closest friend, who had shared so many memories with her, was now a complete stranger, a ghost. Desperation claws at Sophia as she scrambles for explanations, but none come. Instead, an overwhelming weight of dread settles over her. These people, her memories, none of it feels real anymore. They're slipping like water running through her fingers. As Sophia walks into the library one evening, the familiar sights and sounds of her workplace offer her little comfort. The shelves feel taller, more imposing now, and the hum of the overhead lights seems louder, like an intrusive noise. She heads toward the archives, hoping to find some solace in the books, to remind herself of what is solid and unchanging in her life. But then she spots Dr. Harrow, her mentor and the head archivist of the library. He's sitting at his desk, reading something intently. Sophia smiles and heads over, eager to chat with him. But when she greets him, something is terribly wrong. Dr. Harrow looks up, his expression blank.
"Can I help you?"
He asks, his voice unfamiliar. Sophia stumbles back, feeling her pulse quicken.
Dr. Harrow, it's me, Sophia. We've worked together for years.
He stares at her, the furrow in his brow deepening.
I'm afraid you've mistaken me for someone else.
For a moment Sophia stands frozen. She's certain this is a mistake. Dr. Harrow has always been a constant presence in her life, a guiding force in her career. He helped her navigate the labyrinth of ancient texts and unlock the secrets of the library. How could he not remember her? She struggles to recall a specific memory, something that will make him recognize her. Something real, something irrefutable. But the more she tries, the more the memories blur, fading at the edges. She reaches for her phone to show him a picture of them together at a conference, but when she checks her gallery, she finds nothing. No photos of Dr. Harrow. No moments captured. Nothing that proves they were ever close. Her world is shifting. She can feel it, a great, terrible pull that drags everything she knows into the abyss. Later that night, Sophia can't sleep. Her thoughts spiral, consumed by the growing sense that the fabric of her reality is unraveling. The library's basement, the books she's read, all of it has begun to seep into her mind, into her very perception of the world. She can no longer tell where the real world ends and the altered world begins. She's trapped in a nightmare of her own making, where nothing feels permanent, nothing feels safe. She gets out of bed and heads to the library, hoping to find some kind of answer. The library is eerily quiet as she walks through the rows of books, the soft click of her shoes on the polished floor sounding unnaturally loud. Her mind races as she tries to understand what's happening.
Is this because of the books?
She wonders.
Is it the knowledge?
She passes through the aisles, the familiar surroundings now feeling like a maze. But then, as she reaches the back corner, the room shifts. The walls seem to stretch, the shelves tilting in unnatural angles. The room feels bigger than it should be, as though the very dimensions of the library are warping. It's disorienting, terrifying. Her body tingles with a sense of vertigo. A feeling of intense déjà vu hits her, like she's been here before, but it's impossible. This is a different corner of the library, one she's never been to. But it feels like she's standing in a place that's been waiting for her. She stumbles forward, drawn by an unseen force. The air grows thick, and the lights flicker ominously. Suddenly, she hears a soft whisper. A voice, but not one she recognizes. It's soft and melodic, but there's an edge of urgency to it.
Leave now before it consumes you.
Sophia spins around, but no one is there. The air is thick with silence. Her heart beats loudly in her chest, and a cold sweat breaks out on her skin. She runs out of the basement, the weight of her actions heavy on her mind. The reality she once knew has been altered, like a dream that slips through your fingers the moment you wake. The world is crumbling and she can't stop it. That night, as Sophia walks back to her apartment, the city feels different. The streets are quieter, the lights dimmer. It's as if the entire world has been sucked into a slow-motion collapse. As she passes a store window, she catches a glimpse of her reflection, and her breath catches. The person in the glass isn't her. At least, not entirely. There's something wrong about the way she looks. Her eyes are dull, her skin a little too pale, and her face, though familiar, seems oddly distant, as though she's seen it in a dream. But then, something catches her attention. A flicker at the edge of her vision. She turns, and for a split second she sees her mother. She reaches out, calling her name, but as soon as her voice hits the air, the figure vanishes. Her mother was there. And then she wasn't, as if she had never existed in the first place. Sophia's pulse races. She's losing her grip on reality, and the world around her is slipping further into chaos. The people she loves, the people who have always been her anchor, are vanishing like whispers in the wind. Her mind is beginning to break, and there's nothing she can do to stop it. The knowledge she's uncovered, the forbidden truth she's tasted, has come at a price and she's paying it. Each piece of the world she loses takes her further into a reality she can't control, one where she is no longer the center. In the opening of Part 3, Sophia's grip on reality begins to deteriorate rapidly. She wakes up one morning with a lingering sense of dread, A feeling that something significant has happened, something that has altered the course of her life forever. As she reaches for her phone to check the time, she notices something horrifying. The wallpaper photo, once a picture of her and her late father, is now blank. Confused, she scrolls through her contacts, hoping to find some sign that her father's memory still lives in her digital world. But when she searches his name, the contact is gone. No number, no messages, no trace of him. Panicked, she calls her mother, but the call doesn't go through. She tries to remember her mother's voice, but it feels distant, as though it belongs to someone else entirely. Every time she tries to summon a memory of her father, it blurs and distorts like a faded photograph. She rushes to the library, hoping that the sanctuary of books might offer a sense of comfort. But as she walks through the halls, she notices a disturbing detail. The faces of her colleagues are no longer familiar. Even people who she's worked with for years, her trusted co-workers, are distant figures, their expressions vaguely hostile. She can feel the weight of their gazes on her as if they are questioning her existence, unsure of who she is or why she's there. She tries to engage in casual conversation with her colleague Sarah, but as the words leave her mouth, Sarah recoils, a look of confusion and fear in her eyes. "Do I know you?" Sarah asks, her voice trembling slightly. Sophia is stunned.
What's happening?
She thinks.
I've known Sarah for years. We've talked about our lives, shared moments of laughter.
But Sarah just stares at her, as if she's a stranger, and the weight of the loss crushes Sophia from within. Another piece of her world, of her past, is slipping away, and she has no control over it. At the beginning of Part 4, the damage to Sophia's reality becomes glaringly apparent. She's wandering the streets in a state of deep disorientation. The people around her seem like shadows, figures she can't place. Faces blur into one another, and their voices sound hollow. Every passing moment, it seems like someone else's world, not hers. But there's one moment that throws her into a complete spiral. She runs into an old acquaintance, Rachel, from the university where Sophia used to teach before the library became her focus. Rachel greets her with the same enthusiasm as always, but when she starts talking, Sophia's stomach churns. There's something off about the way Rachel addresses her. Almost too familiar, like they were close once, but now it's as if they never shared a history.
"Sophia, how have you been? I haven't seen you in years."
Rachel says, her voice flat, distant. Sophia, overwhelmed, reaches for the memory of their past together, the long talks over coffee, their shared passion for literature. But as she tries to grasp the specifics, it's as if they slip through her fingers like grains of sand.
No!
Sophia says, her voice trembling.
We've been friends for years, Rachel. You were at my wedding.
Rachel's face twists in confusion.
"I think you're mistaken. I don't know you that well. But I'm sure you must be confusing me with someone else."
For the first time, Sophia feels truly unmoored. She stares at Rachel, whose eyes no longer hold the recognition they once did, and realizes that her entire sense of self is evaporating. Rachel doesn't remember their connection. Rachel has never been part of her world. For a split second, Sophia wonders, has she ever existed at all? She turns away, but the world around her starts to blur even more. She's a shadow in a world of strangers. Everything she's worked for, everything she's built, is vanishing before her eyes. Later that day, back in her apartment, the psychological stress begins to take a toll on Sophia's body. The physical pain is a direct manifestation of her fractured sense of reality. She stands in front of the bathroom mirror, feeling a pounding headache that seems to reverberate through her entire skull. She looks at herself, expecting to see the same person she's always known, but what she sees in the reflection horrifies her. Her face seems to flicker like a malfunctioning film reel. In one moment, she sees herself as she was just a few months ago, young, vibrant, and full of energy. In the next, her reflection appears aged and hollow, her eyes sunken. She reaches out to touch the glass, but the reflection doesn't move in sync with her actions. It's as if she's seeing not just herself, but the versions of herself that no longer exist. In the next moment, a crack forms in the mirror. Slowly, the crack widens, and a low, ominous sound vibrates from the shattered surface. As the glass fractures further, Sophia watches, frozen, as her own reflection begins to disappear in sections. Pieces of her face, her body, disintegrating into nothingness. It's as though her very identity is being torn apart, one shard at a time. She backs away from the mirror, her heart racing, but the cracks remain. She can still see the reflection, even if it's no longer hers. In a moment of pure desperation, she slams her fist into the mirror, causing the glass to shatter completely. The room is filled with the deafening sound of the mirror shattering, but when the dust settles, she realizes the physical damage to herself is minimal. But emotionally it's another story. She wonders,
Is this the price I'm paying? Is this how I'm fading away?
As the days pass, Sophia becomes increasingly withdrawn. The world outside feels like it's crumbling, like the ground beneath her feet is eroding with every step she takes. She returns to the library one last time, driven by the need for answers, though she's now deeply aware that there may be no way back. As she enters the basement once again, she feels the oppressive weight of the books closing in on her. The air is thick with the remnants of ancient knowledge, and she feels the pull of the books stronger than ever before. She opens the cursed book, the one that has been shaping her fate since the very beginning. This time, however, something is different. A figure materializes in the shadows of the basement, a presence so overwhelming that it feels as though the very air around her is charged with power. Sophia stands frozen as the figure steps into the dim light. It's the figure she's been dreading. The author of the books. The man, no, the being before her isn't entirely human. His features are indistinct, almost dreamlike, as though they shift with the ebb and flow of the book's contents. He wears an expression of solemnity, and his eyes gleam with an otherworldly light. He seems to exist on the edge of reality, a being who exists both in and outside of time.
I see you have come for me.
He says, his voice calm but resonant like the deep hum of a faraway storm.
But what is it that you seek now, Sophia? Do you truly believe you can stop it?
Sophia's voice trembles as she confronts the being.
I didn't know. I didn't understand what I was doing. How do I stop this? How do I undo the damage I've caused?
The author tilts his head, a strange amusement flickering across his features.
You cannot stop it. Once you have unlocked this knowledge, once you have tasted the forbidden truth, there is no undoing it. You are no longer a simple part of the world you once knew. You are something else now, something between realities.
Sophia takes a step back, horrified.
What does that even mean?
I don't want to be this thing.
She says desperately.
I want to go back. I want everything to be as it was.
But the author's expression grows solemn, almost pitying.
You misunderstand. The world you once knew no longer exists for you. Your desire for knowledge, your hunger for truth, has already irreversibly altered the course of your existence. You are no longer bound by time, by memory, by identity. You are a part of something much greater now.
As he speaks, the room begins to shift again, the walls blurring. Time itself seems to bend and warp around her. The knowledge she sought has consumed her, and now it is clear that there is no way to return to what was once her reality. The tension of Sophia's internal conflict reaches its peak when the figure gives her an ultimatum. She can continue seeking answers, delving further into the books, until she becomes something beyond human comprehension. Or she can stop now, accept that she will fade from existence, and let the world return to its original state, where she will never have existed at all. Her mind is racked with the weight of this impossible choice. Her identity is gone. Her friends are disappearing. The world itself feels like a dream, slipping between her fingers. But the lure of the forbidden knowledge is too great to ignore. She is consumed with the desire to understand, to know everything. Yet at the same time, there is a part of her that wants to let go, to allow the world to return to its natural state, even if it means she will be forgotten entirely. Sophia's hands tremble as she holds the book, torn between two impossible paths. The knowledge she has gained has come at a price beyond her comprehension, and the cost has been her very self. But will she let it go? Sophia's search for answers leads her to the hidden basement once more. She feels an irresistible pull toward the forbidden books, knowing that the key to stopping this madness lies within their pages. When she arrives, she feels an eerie calm settle over her as she approaches the black, obsidian-like book she first found. This time, however, something is different. The air is heavier, suffocating, and the silence is thick enough to drown her thoughts. As she opens the book, she notices that the words on the pages seem to pulse, almost alive. They writhe before her eyes, rearranging themselves like the twisted tendrils of some malevolent entity. Suddenly, a voice echoes in her mind. It's not a whisper, but a clear, malevolent tone that sends chills down her spine.
You are too deep, Sophia. There is no turning back now.
She staggers back, her breath quickening. The voice seems to come from the book itself, resonating in her head, a horrible reminder that the knowledge she's been seeking has a price.
For every truth you unlock, the world you know unravels. You cannot stop it.
Desperation surges through her. She slams the book shut, but the voice continues to speak inside her mind, like an insistent nagging. She scrambles to leave the basement, her heart racing in fear. But as she heads up the stairs, the lights flicker. The space around her begins to warp, twisting in unnatural angles, as if the library itself is being reshaped by the knowledge she's unlocked. The walls seem to breathe, and shadows dance along the edges of her vision. The voice grows louder.
It is too late for you, Sophia. You are already lost.
Sophia returns home, her mind in chaos. She can feel her very sense of self splintering as she contemplates what the voice in the book told her. Her thoughts spiral into a haze, and the longer she stays in her apartment, the more it feels wrong, like she's not really there. She notices the clocks around her apartment are malfunctioning. They tick out of sync, moving backward and forward in an erratic rhythm. She watches as the numbers flicker on her digital clock, its hands frozen at 3:17 a.m. In a fit of frustration, she grabs the clock and shakes it, but it doesn't stop. Time itself seems to be falling apart, just like everything else around her. Suddenly, the air is filled with a deep, vibrating hum. The walls seem to pulse, bending and stretching like rubber. A distant sound echoes, like a storm of voices, screaming in unison. It is as if the fabric of time is being torn at the seams, and Sophia is caught in the midst of it. She runs to the window, hoping to see something, anything, that can anchor her to reality. But when she looks outside, the world she once knew is gone. The skyline is warped, distant, and unfamiliar. The buildings appear to be floating, the ground beneath her feet flickering in and out of existence. The streets are eerily empty, with no one in sight. It's as if the world outside her apartment no longer exists. Her pulse quickens.
This is it. This is the end.
She thinks, but then something strange happens. A face appears in the reflection of the glass. A shadowy figure, blurry at first, but slowly coming into focus. It's Mia, her best friend. But the image of Mia isn't right. Her face is distorted, and her body flickers like a bad television signal. Mia's mouth moves, but no sound comes from it. She presses her palm against the glass as if trying to communicate, but the figure begins to distort further, melting into the reflection of the cityscape. It's as though Mia is trying to warn her, trying to reach her from a place outside of time itself. Sophia slams the window shut, her breath coming in short gasps. The space around her is crumbling, and she is powerless to stop it. The world is no longer solid. It's slipping between her fingers like sand, and there's no way to hold on to anything. In the final part of this section, Sophia begins to confront the horrifying truth. There may be no way to stop the unraveling of her world. She searches the library's records, digging deeper into the origins of the forbidden books, hoping to find some hint of a solution. Her mind is clouded by panic, but a small shred of rationality remains. She knows that the more she reads, the more her reality frays. The books are rewriting everything, but they don't just rewrite the world, they rewrite her too. In one of the older, dust-covered texts, she discovers something that sends a chill through her. There is a passage that suggests that the books do not just alter the world, they take pieces of it. They pull fragments of time and existence into oblivion. And the more one reads, the more the boundaries of reality dissolve. There is only one way to stop it. But it's a terrible, irreversible choice. Sophia must make a decision. She can choose to stop reading and destroy the books, which would cease the unraveling. But in doing so, she will erase herself from existence. No one will ever remember her. And she will become a figment of a forgotten memory. Or she can continue reading, hoping that there is a way to reverse the damage. But each new book she opens will cost her more of her reality, more of her connections, until there's nothing left. The gravity of the decision weighs on her. She stands on the precipice of losing everything, knowing that the act of reading, the thirst for knowledge, has led her to this point, a place where there are no easy choices. But whatever she decides, she knows it will come with a cost. There is no way out without sacrifice. As Part 5 opens, Sophia is standing on the edge of a precipice, both physically and emotionally. The basement of the library has transformed into a surreal, disorienting space where the very fabric of reality is beginning to collapse. Time itself seems to have fractured irreparably, and the environment around her reflects this chaos. The library's walls are no longer stable. They flicker between different periods of history, some showing scenes from her past, others from futures she cannot even comprehend. The air is thick with a static hum, as if the very atoms are vibrating out of sync. The light flickers erratically, casting shadows that appear to move on their own, shifting like the distorted reflections in a broken mirror. Sophia reaches out and touches a nearby shelf. As her fingers brush the spine of a book, the shelf disintegrates into dust, crumbling away into nothingness. She watches, horrified, as pieces of the library, her world, vanish like fragments of a fading dream. But it's more than the physical world crumbling. It's her perception of time itself. As she stands in the midst of this unraveling chaos, she suddenly finds herself standing in an empty, endless void, with nothing around her except for her own voice echoing back. She realizes, with a jolt of terror, that she has no idea how much time has passed. Hours, days. Or is this all an illusion, a trick of her mind, as the knowledge she gained begins to erase everything she once understood about the flow of time? Her mind begins to fracture in response to the pressure. Memories blur. Faces of friends and loved ones flash before her eyes. Some of them she can no longer recognize. Names float in her mind but seem disconnected from any real identity. She cannot tell whether they are people she's lost or ones that never existed. In this moment, she feels herself unraveling, the weight of the entire collapsing universe crushing her. The world around her is no longer real. She is no longer real. As the library falls apart around her, Sophia's resolve begins to waver. She turns back toward the place where the shadowy figure of the author appeared earlier. But now, the figure is no longer just a distant presence. It stands before her, fully formed and radiating a terrible, silent power. The figure is unchanged, his features as fluid and distorted as ever. The author speaks in a calm, detached voice, as though he is not speaking to Sophia, but to a part of her that no longer exists.
You have come far, Sophia. But this is where your path ends.
Sophia trembles, her mind spinning.
What do you mean? I don't want this anymore. I didn't know. I didn't understand. Please, I just want to go back.
The author shakes his head slowly.
There is no going back. Time has been rewritten. Your desire for knowledge has irrevocably altered the course of history, of existence. There is no longer a place for you in the world you once knew.
Sophia collapses to her knees, the weight of her choices crashing down on her.
I've lost everything I ever loved. My friends, my family, they're all gone.
The author's voice shifts slightly, almost compassionate.
And yet, You persist. You still wish to undo it all, to find a way to stop the unraveling. But understand this, Sophia, the pursuit of knowledge has a price, and now you must face it. The very act of knowing, of unlocking the forbidden truths, has consumed you. It has erased your place in the world.
Sophia's heart races as she realizes the horrifying truth.
This is not just about the books or the knowledge they hold. It's about the nature of existence itself. She was never meant to know this.
But just as she begins to despair, the author adds,
However, there is one last choice you must make. To save the world, you must be willing to let go of everything. You can stop the collapse, but in doing so, you will erase yourself entirely. No one will remember you, not even your loved ones. You will become nothing more than a fleeting shadow in a world that will continue on without you.
Sophia stands frozen in horror. The decision weighs on her soul, heavy and unbearable. What is she willing to sacrifice? What does she want to preserve, the world or herself? Her mind is consumed with flashes of her past. Her father's laughter, the quiet moments spent with friends, the warm embrace of those who once loved her. But now, it's all slipping away like water between her fingers.
What will happen if I let go?
She wonders. Will she simply cease to exist? Will she fade into oblivion, a forgotten ghost? The author watches her, patient, knowing the choice she faces is one no human should ever have to make.
There is no easy way out, Sophia. But understand this, the price of knowledge is eternal. Even if you choose to save the world, your existence will never be the same.
Tears well up in her eyes as she realizes that she has reached the end of her journey. She cannot keep the world intact while holding on to her own existence. In one last, gut-wrenching decision, Sophia chooses to sacrifice herself.
I choose to let go.
She says, her voice barely a whisper.
Let the world be as it should be. Let it remember what was, and forget what never should have been.
As she speaks these words, she feels the pull of the library, of the books, release their hold on her. The world around her starts to collapse once again, but this time it's not the universe shattering, it's her. Sophia feels her body begin to disintegrate, piece by piece, as if she is fading from existence itself. Her memories slip away. Her identity, her very essence, begins to unravel. She can feel herself being erased, and yet she is not afraid. There is a strange peace in this moment. She is giving the world back to itself, allowing time to heal, allowing the past to remain intact. Her final thoughts are of her loved ones, those who will never remember her, but who she knows will live on without the weight of the forbidden knowledge she once sought. As Sophia fades into nothingness, the library crumbles one final time, its walls disintegrating into nothingness, the knowledge within it vanishing from existence. The basement is left empty, as if no one has ever set foot there. In the world outside, the sky is still and the air is calm. Time resumes its natural flow, and the chaos of reality begins to settle. The people Sophia once knew go on with their lives, none of them ever remembering her. Her family, her friends, her colleagues. None of them will ever know what she did, what she sacrificed. But the world is whole again. The memory of the library and the books that could rewrite reality have faded, like a half-remembered dream. All that remains is the quiet hum of the universe, moving forward as it always has. Sophia is gone, but the world continues, and the knowledge she once sought is lost to time forever.